F1 Manager 24, grid changes every race, part number 12, the 2024 United States Grand Prix. That is where we're up to. We're getting through this series now, so let's have a look what our drivers are driving this time. Sainz in the Williams, George Russell in the Haas, Lewis Hamilton at Sauber, Lando Norris at Mercedes, Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin again, Daniel Ricciardo at Alpine, Charles Leclerc at McLaren, Pierre Gasly back at Alpine, Kevin Magnussen at Williams, Esteban Ocon at Red Bull. Then we have Alexander Albon at Ferrari, Max Verstappen at Ferrari, Valtteri Bottas at RB, Oscar Piastri at Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda at RB, Lance Stroll at Sauber, Nico Hülkenberg back at Haas, Sergio Perez at Aston Martin, Zhou Guanyu at Mercedes, and right at the bottom, Logan Sargent at McLaren. So that is the grid lineup for this race at COTA. Now we're going to, first of all, go through and emergency get some front wings going, because we only had 2 front wings left, so we have to make some more front wings here. We're also going to start a research project for the underfloor for next season, because I want to, try and do as much as we can there. Then we go into this next race and have a look at our race targets. So we're going to go P15 for Carlos Sainz. That's probably the best he's going to do there. P16 for Kevin Magnussen. I reckon I was debating, do I go 16 or 18? I thought, nah, I'm going to go 16. We'll try and go for it, get that extra money. We know we want as much money as we can. And then looking at the R&D. Now, unfortunately, Alpine have really caught up to the back of us there at Williams, and Haas have kind of flown away a little bit. We haven't had any big upgrades lately, so we're not really going forward like we should. But to be fair, a lot of the teams are starting to plateau a bit towards the end of this season. I think, probably putting more research down into 2025. So we might not see as much upgrading at the end of this season. And of course, I've changed things up by, now going for trying to spend as much money as we can, because the money we're spending compared to other teams is way down. Kevin Magnussen crosses the line, goes P15, signs it safely through. Unfortunately, Magnussen does get knocked down to P16, so he's out in Q1, will not make it through to Q2. Sainz does make it through up there in P13. The other drivers out, both Alpines, Stroll in the Sauber, and Sergio Perez in the Aston Martin P19. That is a terrible performance for him in that Aston Martin. That is a top 5 car. So, Perez not having a good time here. And then we go into Q2 for our flying lap for Carlos Sainz, because we do not make it through to Q3. Once again, it would be a bit of a stretch to get through to Q3, especially now that our car, we're still technically 8th quickest car, but we're now a little bit further away from Haas, which is not good, because Haas are our main rivals in this championship. We're really fighting for P7 in the championship with Haas. We are currently in P7, a few points ahead of them. I think 2 points ahead of them at the moment. I think it's 10 points to 8, if I remember correctly. So we are ahead at the moment, but they have now had this fairly big uptick in performance, so a little bit worried about what that could mean. At the moment here in Q2, Sainz currently sitting P10, so he is currently in that top 10 zone. However, there are cars behind Zhou and Albon, as someone there goes quicker. I think it might have been Norris, and knocks us down into P11. Sainz is on a quicker lap though, so he is looking at a better time here, but Albon crosses the line. He's only P14 in the Ferrari, so something has gone wrong for him. He does not make it through to Q3 in a Ferrari. Ocon's also down there in P15, but I'm sure he will put a better time on the board, because he's way down on his time there. Must not have had a good first lap. As Sainz comes to the end of his run here, round the final corner, and he crosses the line, and he is going to go back up into P10 actually, so that is a good result. But in the end, we do get knocked down to P11, I think because of Ocon, and that is Sainz out in Q2. So both our drivers out, neither one getting through to Q3, but Sainz being in P11, that's a pretty decent result there. I'm happy enough with that. And as we then have a look at the Q3 results, Esteban Ocon ends up getting pole position, fastest in every session, with Max Verstappen in second in the Ferrari, and Oscar Piastri third, Leclerc's fourth, but he has a grid penalty after an incident in Q1. So that's how the grid is going to line up for this United States Grand Prix in 2024.
We're not far off now here in Austin as the drivers ready themselves for this 56-lap race.
The Circuit of the Americas is definitely a track that rewards bravery on the brakes, just like when Lewis Hamilton passed Sebastian Vettel unbelievably late here to take the win in 2012.
The Circuit of the Americas has it all. Twists and turns, steep climbs, fast corners, and a power-hungry Sector 2. Quite a headache to balance, even if teams will be looking at maximising downforce overall. The time has come to fight it out. It's race day.
Right, so this is the strategies for our cars. 2-stop for both, starting on the softs to mediums to hard for Sainz, medium hard to soft for Magnussen. So we'll see how that plays out for both of them. And yeah, starting P11 and P16, here we go.
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race.
15th isn't really where they should be starting from today. They need to move forward quickly to salvage a good result.
Right, let's get to it then. Here we go. It's the United States Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Here we go, and as we have a look at the front here, George Russell in the Haas is in P4. He's already going for a move for P3 in the Haas, and he's got P3. That is big for Russell and big for Haas, and not very good for us because, like I said, Haas are our main rivals here, and Russell has pulled out an absolutely amazing qualifying and an amazing start. To be up in a podium position already, that is ridiculous. As for our driver, Sainz has managed to get up to P10 at the start, so that's good. Magnussen, unfortunately, has fallen back to P17 behind Daniel Ricciardo in the Alpine. We'll have a little look here. This Alpine has had a bit of a performance boost. You know, they're actually only just behind us now in R&D performance, so they could be a bit of a threat. However, in this case, Ricciardo's on the soft tyres, Magnussen's on the mediums, so it's not the biggest deal in the world that he's managed to get past us here. It's not great, but at the same time, it is a tyre differential, so we will take that. Still on the first lap, and Max Verstappen is diving up the inside of Esteban Ocon into not turn one, off the back straight there to try and get past. These guys are going to go side by side now. Can Verstappen finally get another win? He, of course, won the first race of the season, but has not won since then. Only one win for Verstappen this season as he's trying to get past Ocon, but Ocon stays on the inside and manages, I think, to keep the position. Great defending from the Frenchman there. And they will continue to battle it out. They've already got a second gap over Russell in third place. As Verstappen now going up the inside into the final corner. This time he might be able to get alongside. It's going to be a drag race down to turn one. Ocon seems to have the slightly better straight line speed and traction off the corner, but Verstappen will almost certainly stay there on the inside, try and brake later, and he will get ahead of Esteban Ocon. He's on the medium tyres as well, whereas Ocon's on the soft, so there is a tyre differential from the two leaders. It's now on to lap number 3. It is Ocon versus Verstappen once again. Ocon up the inside of Verstappen and back into the lead of this race. So these guys, I think, are going to be fighting for quite a while. Now we have a look at Zhou Guanyu, who's, I think, getting past Carlos Sainz here down the main straight with DRS open into this left-hander, and he will make a quite easy move down the back straight and get up a position in that Mercedes. So that unfortunately pushes Sainz out of the points. And further right down the back of the order, Gasly's going to get past Magnussen and put Magnussen in P20 last position. So things not going so well for Magnussen at the start of this race here, being in literally dead last now. So that is not great. And then we have a look at Nico Hulkenberg. He's also going to go for a move on Sainz as well, up the inside, straight past, there we go, and he is ahead. So unfortunately, both of our drivers starting to fall down the order a little bit here. By the way, sorry if I sound a little bit sick. I'm still kind of getting over a sickness that I've had for like a week now. It's been a long week of being sick, and it's still just, yeah, my voice, I can tell it's still a little bit, you know, bleh. So sorry about that. Carlos Sainz does manage to get back past Hulkenberg again, but I believe this is just a bit of a back and forth between them. Lap number 14 though, and Sainz is going to come in for his first stop onto the medium compound tyres. It's a decent pit stop, 2.6 seconds. I will take that. There's a little bit of a message up there, Magnussen overtaking Stroll. So he perhaps now starting to make some moves here. As, oh, it's a bit of an unorthodox place to do it, around the outside of the second to last corner. Good overtake there for Magnussen. I think Stroll starting to struggle on those soft tyres in the Sauber. So there we go, our drivers starting to make some moves. Esteban Ocon here we're watching with Valtteri Bottas up ahead. Just a bit of a battle going on further up the order. Alonso up the inside of the RB, who's running in a very good position. Both RBs actually running 5th and 6th at the moment. But Alonso gets that move done. And now we have a yellow flag. Virtual safety car is out. So we're just going to, you know, make sure our guys don't wear their tyres out. There's a pit stop issue for Russell as well, which is big for us. You know, the Haas is having issues, especially Russell being as far up as he was. Let's see, he changed onto the hard compound tyres, but they're really struggling to get that front right tyre off. It takes forever, but eventually they get it on. But that is a very slow pit stop for George Russell. But that's good for us because that's going to push him down the order. Yeah, we're going to see what this yellow flag is for, because it's not because of Russell's issue. It's because of Sergio Perez, who is out of the race. Not sure exactly what happened there, but he's off in the gravel. I'm guessing he's hit the wall at some point. Didn't actually get to show me what happened, but Perez is out, and that is what brought out the VSC. Terrible time for Perez. He's not having a good season here. We're going to take the opportunity with Magnussen to pit under the VSC for the hard compound tyres. Another decent stop, 2.7. Could have been a bit quicker, but not terrible. It is a little bit early for him to be coming in, but we had to take that opportunity. Now, as the light goes green again, Sainz now trying to make his way back through the order. Big lunge down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo to get past him. So big move for Sainz there on these fresh medium compound tyres. Let's just see what we can do. And now the other Haas is going to have a pit stop issue as well. It is not going well for Haas. Onto the soft compound tyres for them. And it's once again, it's really slow. I think it's on the rear right this time. Struggling to get the wheel off. Terrible stuff for Haas, but that very much helps us. Now Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc are battling it out here. Currently for P3, side by side around this left-hand corner. Piastri on the inside, Leclerc on the outside, but Piastri slightly goes wide, smashes into Leclerc. There is debris all over the track. Another yellow flag is out, and surely that's going to be a safety car or something. But I don't think it is. I think it's just a yellow flag in the end. Now we have a look at Sainz going around the outside of one of the Saubers there. Good little move there. Once again, just having the tyre advantage on at the moment. And there is a safety car now, although I think it's because of a different incident. Yes, crash involving multiple cars. What has happened here? Alexander Albon, we saw in qualifying, did not have a good time trying to make his way through the order. Gets ahead of one of the Alpines, but then gets smashed into the back of. That is terrible. Nothing Albon could do about that. The Alpine just smacked right into the back of him. Not sure if that was Ricciardo. I think it was Ricciardo that. So yeah, he's out. Ricciardo's out. Albon's out. So that's now 3 drivers out of this race. And as we get going again after the safety car, Ocon leads the way from Verstappen. But Verstappen is on the quicker soft compound tyres. Ocon is on the hards. So easily into turn 1. Verstappen's already going for the move on Ocon, trying to get the position. Can't quite get him into turn 1. So he's going to be tucked up behind him through the S's section here. This could be a pretty feisty first lap after the restart here. As also, Zhou Guan Yu goes for quite an audacious move on Carlos Sainz up the inside as they head into this left-hander down the back straight and gets ahead of Carlos Sainz. So once again, just positions changing all over the place here. How then looks like Sainz had a good run then though up on him, but will not get back past him. As then next a few laps later, there is another safety car and there's a massive pileup of cars. There are cars everywhere. What's happened here? That's Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is in the gravel. What has happened here? So we've got Leclerc, we've got one of the RBs, I think it's Yuki Tsunoda behind, and he just brakes too late. Goes straight into the back of Leclerc. Leclerc is out of the race. I think Tsunoda might be out as well. I don't even know. This is absolutely ridiculous. There are so many incidents in this race. There's so much going on. And that now might be 5 drivers out of the race. Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous what is going on here in this race.
After a pause in this race, we are all set and ready once more. And it's lights out and away we go.
We're underway again here in the USA. We've now only got 15 cars going in this race. It has been a pretty crazy one. We're only just over half distance now, as Sainz is P11, Magnussen P12. Magnussen's on the soft compound tyres. We're going to go 2 sets of softs for him, and I think Sainz is still on the same set of... No, did I put Sainz on mediums? I can't quite remember. Basically, both drivers need to pit again. But then a few laps later, it might even be on the same lap, there is another safety car or VSC or something. There's another crash here. It's Logan Sargent in the other McLaren car, the only McLaren left in this race, round the final corner, smacks into one of the Mercedes. Thankfully, it doesn't look like too big of an incident. It's kind of screwed over that Mercedes a little bit. I think it was Lando Norris, but Sargent looks like he might be okay. He's carrying on here, so it might have only been a yellow flag, so we'll continue on. I believe that is the case. Sainz is now, though, up to P10. There's drivers ahead of him with penalties too, so there's still a chance here we could get some good points, but it's definitely going to be difficult, and especially with the Hasses that are now up in P6 and P7, so they've both kind of recovered after their bad pit stops. Now Sainz under pressure from Hamilton, who's actually going really quick in this Sauber. He's looking quite rapid actually in that car. I mean, it is the worst car on R&D, but Hamilton now up past Sainz and into P10, and Magnussen is going to get past Sainz as well. So our teammates switch as there's another yellow flag. Something else has happened here. What is going on? As we now have a look. Nope. There's another big crash. What's happened? I'm trying to figure out what the hell has gone on here. Another crash involving multiple cars. This is the 4th crash of this race, as one of the well, that must be Fernando Alonso goes up the inside of one of the RBs. Now around the next corner, there is just the tiniest little bit of contact. Okay, that's barely even. That's barely even an issue. They just had a tiny bit of contact, so that shouldn't really pose a problem here for anyone, really. As we now have a look at Magnussen, who's starting to make his way through the order, now getting past, I believe, is that Stroll or is that Hamilton? That must be Hamilton. So Magnussen moving his way through on those soft tyres. However, he will now find himself in a bit of a battle with Hamilton. As for Carlos Sainz, he's starting to drop down the order now on the hard compound tyres. He's now been overtaken by Stroll, and I believe that now puts him... Oh no, sorry, there is still Norris in the Mercedes behind, but he's almost last position out of the running cars now, is Carlos Sainz. Now, once again, Kevin Magnussen still fighting with Lewis Hamilton. Unfortunately, not quite able to break away from him quick enough. I was hoping that we could get past Hamilton and then Magnussen could just kind of keep going, and then we'd have to pit again for another set of softs and just make our way through the order. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. And then we have another VSC. What is going on in this race? Magnussen now up to P9. I don't know who's had an issue here. DRS is disabled, and it's Zhou Guanyu. Zhou Guanyu has had a crash now. Let's have a look at this. He is just behind, I believe, one of the Williams, actually, one of our cars, and he just spins off himself, goes into the wall, and that is him out of this race. This has been the most crash-happy race I've ever had on this game. There is so many crashes going on, and we're going to take the opportunity under the VSC, I believe, to change onto our second set, or maybe we leave it a little bit later, change onto another set of softs for Magnussen because we need to make sure we get to the end of this race on these tyres. We're really pushing it a bit. Hulkenberg then manages to get very easily past Carlos Sainz. We can see how much Sainz is struggling because he actually has an issue. I don't know if I've quite looked at it yet, but Sainz has an issue with his gearbox. There is a failure happening here. We might be looking at it in a moment. You can see bottom left there, the little orange icon down the bottom left. Sainz has an issue with his gearbox, as we're now looking at the two Hasses running P6 and P7. Russell probably going to get past Hulkenberg eventually here, but the two Hasses running in very good positions right now for some good points. This is now Lewis Hamilton, who is getting past one of our Williams again. I'm not sure which one that is this time, but Hamilton now up into P10. So Hamilton could be scoring points here. The first points for Sauber in this season. Sauber have not scored any points yet. Along with Alpine, they've also not scored any points. As once again, now I think we're going to have a look at this fault for Carlos Sainz. We go to powertrain there. You can see the little orange symbol, and he does have a pretty bad issue at the moment with that car. Final lap of the race, Verstappen is leading the way. Ocon is just behind him. Ocon tries to look for a move off that straight, but isn't able to get anything done. But Verstappen will go ahead. He's going to round the last couple of corners here. He won the first race of the season. He hasn't won a race since, but round number 12 in the USA, Max Verstappen wins the United States Grand Prix for Ferrari.
And there's the checkered flag. Max Verstappen is our winner.
Honestly, even their harshest critic would be hard-pressed to say that they didn't thoroughly deserve that win.
Yes, he's back on the top step once again, Max Verstappen. And right at the end, Magnussen actually gets a puncture because I was really nursing these tyres to the end. Magnussen gets a puncture, but it doesn't cost him anything. But in the end, it's no points for us anyway. P11 for Magnussen, 14 for Sainz.
Well, Max Verstappen can add yet another podium to his already impressive record.
That's their second win of the season. A brilliant talent who looks so at home on the track.
So, ladies and gentlemen, your podium for the United States Grand Prix.
Yes, it's another win for Max Verstappen. A podium for Ocon and Piastri as well. The two Red Bulls, second and third, couldn't get the win this time, but it is their old driver of Max Verstappen, their original driver of Max Verstappen, taking the win for Ferrari. And Bottas P4 in the RB. What a result for him. Alonso P5. It is bad news for us though, because Russell is 6th and Hulkenberg 7th in the Hasses. They are picking up 14 points for this race, where we will pick up nothing. Hamilton picks up 2 points for Sauber, and Gasly picks up 1 point for Alpine as well. In the Drivers' Championship, Sainz still leading the way, but his lead has come down a little bit, thanks to George Russell picking up a few points there, 128 to 92 now, so still a fairly healthy lead going into the final 4 races, but yeah, not massive anymore. And Logan Sargent finally pulls himself off the bottom, as now Zhou Guan Yu is in P20 with 22 points. Looking at the constructors, well, yeah, Red Bull still at the front. As you can see there, Haas overtaking Williams now. They are now 12 points ahead of us. That's going to be a big deficit to make back up. But right at the back, Sauber now in 9th with 2 points, Alpine with 1 point. That means that now every team has at least scored a point in this 2024 season. So that could change things going into the final few rounds. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.